ensure message confidentiality is cryptography. The privacy of individuals and organizations is provided through cryptography at a high level, making sure that information sent is secure in a way that the authorized receiver can access this information. Cryptography is used in the protection of knowledge to safeguard data from illegal or inadvertent exposure during in transit. The data is either electronically or physically. That is the art of concealing data to discourage unwanted people from viewing it. Cryptography can be viewed as an ancient method that is continually being improved upon because of its historical roots.
Cryptography concept. The basic concept of cryptography system are to cheaper information or data in order to achieve confidentiality in such a way that an unauthorized person would be unable to deduce its meaning. Two of the most common applications of cryptography are transmitting data over an insecure channel, such as the Internet, and ensuring that unauthorized people do not understand what they are looking in this scenario, which is they have accessed the information. In cryptography, the concealed information is usually termed plaintext, and the process of using the plaintext is defined as encryption. The encrypted plaintext is known as ciphertext. A set of rules known as encryption algorithm are used to accomplish this. Typically, the encryption process relies on encryption key, which is then provided as input to the encryption algorithm along with the information using a decryption algorithm and the appropriate decryption key. Historical algorithm. Caesar cipher. One of the oldest and earliest examples of cryptography during the Gallic Wars, invented by Julius Caesar, the Emperor of Rome. It is a type of substitution cipher in which each letter in the plaintext is replaced by a letter some fixed number of positions down the alphabet. Caesar cipher is one of cryptography's simplest examples. It is easy to crack.
Substitution ciphers, also known as monoalphabetic cipher, method of encrypting in which units of plaintext are replaced with ciphertext.
Next is modern algorithm. Modern algorithm consists of hash function and block ciphers. Hash function is an algorithm that takes an arbitrary amount of credential data input and generates an enciphered text output of a fixed size. Instead of the password itself, the enciphered text can be stored and later used for user verification. Hash function must align with several properties to be useful. First is non-reversibility, second diffusion, third determinism, fourth is collision resistant, fifth is non-predictable. So here we can see a cryptographic for hash function. So we can see for the input and its digest after cryptographic hash function. Next is block ciphers. This type of cipher consists of both an algorithm for encryption and algorithm for decryption. So first is a key is given to encryption algorithm E and a block of plaintext P, of which C is the product and consists of ciphertext blocks. So the encryption operation can be expressed as C equal to EKP. As for the decryption algorithm D, this is the inverse of the previous operation, which is encryption, in which the ciphertext is decrypted for the plaintext P. It can be written as P equal to DKC. So for this figure, we can see the secret key and plaintext went into the cipher and went to the ciphertext. These are called as block cipher diagram. Next is I'm going to present for public key encryption. Public key encryption consists of reverse Shamir Adaman, RSA, public key certificate, public key system, and digital signature. So first, I'm going to go through for what is public key encryption. Public key cryptography is a method of encrypting data with two different keys and making one of the key the public key that available to anyone. The other key is referred to as the private key. Data encrypted with the public key can only be decrypted with the private key, and vice versa, data encrypted with the private key. Asymmetric encryption is another name for public key encryption. It is widely used, particularly for TLS or SSL, which enable HTTPS. Public key encryption is a type of cipher architecture known as public key cryptography that encrypts and decrypts data using two keys or a key pi. One of the two keys is a public key, which anyone can use to encrypt a message for the owner of that key. The encrypted message is sent and the recipient uses the private key to decrypt it. So next is reverse Shamir Adaman. The RSA is the foundation of crypto system, which is a collection of cryptography algorithm used for specific security service or purpose. It enables public key encryption and widely used to secure sensitive data, especially when it is sent over an insecure network like the internet. Public key cryptography, also known as asymmetric cryptography, use two different but mathematically linked keys, one public and one private. The public key can be shared with everyone, whereas the private key must be kept secret. In RSA cryptography, both the public key and private key can encrypt a message. The opposite key from the one used to encrypt a message is used to decrypt it. One of the reasons RSA has become most widely used asymmetric algorithm that it provides a method to ensure the confidentiality, integrity, authenticity, and non-repudiation of electronic communication and data storage. Next is public key certificate. Public key certificate, also known as digital certificate or identity certificate, is an electronic document which uses a digital signature to bind together a public key with an identity information such as the name of a person or an organization, their address, and so forth. The certificate can be used to validate the public key that belongs to a specific person. The most common use of certificates is for HTTPS-based website. A web browser validates the SSL, transport layer security. Web server is authentic so that the user can feel secure that their interaction with the website has no eavesdroppers and the website is who it claims to be. The level of security is critical for electronic commerce. In practice, a website operator obtains a certificate by submitting a certificate signing request to a certificate provider. A typical digital certificate contains the following information. First is serial numbers, next is signature algorithm, and the subject, issuer, key usage, public key, and valid to thumbprint algorithm, and thumbprint. Next is public key system. The invention of public key encryption was a cryptography evolution. Even in 1970s and 1980s, general cryptography and encryption were clearly limited to the military and intelligence fields. Cryptography spread into other areas only through public key system and techniques. It is more suitable, especially when the parties that have never interacted previously want to communicate securely and interact. Encryption limits the need to store many secret keys that store in a non-secure fashion or can be obtained when needed. It is also allowed on public channels in which the system initial deployment.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi, my name is Nurizatul Syazwani binti Muhammad Razi, metric number B08-201-0053. In this video, I will explain about the digital signature. A digital signature is a type of identification that can be used to securely identify yourself on the internet. This is extremely useful in areas such as electronic commerce. For instance, when making a credit card purchase on the internet, you can use your digital signature to sign that purchase. This helps to ensure that only you can make purchase with your credit card number. Digital signatures are a central component of modern cryptographic system. Digital signatures, like handwritten signatures on paper document, it is used to ensure the authenticity of electronic documents. As a result, they play an important role. For example, in secure and reliable electronic commerce system, digital signature are commonly used in software distribution, financial transaction, and other situations where forgery and tampering must be detected. A digital signature in the form of a code is generated by applying an algorithm and the sender's private key to some or all the message contents. The signature is verified by the recipient by decrypting it with the sender's public key. There are 5 types of information security concerns, which is malware, logic bombs, phishing, shoulder surfing, and social engineering. For the malware, it is possible to use the term malware to refer to any type of software that engage in potentially destructive, illegal, or unknown behavior. Trojan horse worms and the computer viruses are examples of malware. The phrases malicious and software may be combined to the form of the term malware. While for the logic bombs, it is an automated data processing system that has malicious code purposely installed on it is said to be malevolent. It is dormant for a certain amount of time. It explodes and performs its malevolent function when circumstances are satisfied. Different circumstances can trigger the set code to detonate. Programmers can design logic bombs that detonate on this or at specific times. For phishing may be a form of online fraud where perpetrators try to get sensitive data from the targets. Attacks known as phishing take place through the electronic conversation. This attack might happen through instant chat or email. Online chat rooms can potentially by the target or phishing attacks. Shoulder suffering. For the shoulder suffering, it is for the social engineering, it is an attack is one that heavily relies on human relationship. It is not a technical assault. This type of attack involves duping others into disrupting sensitive data that might be distributed among the subject. A different tool for or component launch for each subject or class of subject can provide flexibility and access management among different customers and prevent potential security breaches that might occur if only one system was implemented. For information security in clouding, according to the principle of least advantage, a person, process, or other type of substance should only receive the minimal benefits and resources for the minimal amount of time required to complete the task. The term psychological acceptability refers to the intuitiveness and usefulness of the user interface (UI), which works in tandem with cloud access control system to control the access. A cloud system should fail over to a state where the security of the system and the privacy of its data are not compromised. According to the fail-safe concept, making a framework's default state one in which a client or cycle is refused entry is one use of this way of thinking. For place common mechanism, shared access points might be sources of unauthorized data trading. The standard state that a minimum number of insurance systems should be common to many clients. Avoid having several subjects share tools to grant access to an item. For the weakest link, a cloud framework security is just as vulnerable as its most delicate component. Therefore, it is crucial to identify the weakest links in the security chain and layers of protection and strengthen them so that the threats to the frameworks are reduced to a respectable level. The economy of mechanism advances straightforward and conceivable insurance instrument planning and execution, with the goal that unintended access ways do not exist or can be quickly identified and killed. Unpredictability is one factor in determining a framework security. For open design, it is a widely evaluated open access cloud framework plan provides a safer validation method than one that has not been extensively examined. Password or keys must be secure for such equipment. The free software and open source innovations serve as the foundation for the open source standards.
As a conclusion from this assignment that we choose title cryptography, we can conclude that cryptography is a goal of security communication technique for us to keep our data from being stolen by someone else because it processes only allow sender and intended recipient of a message to view its contents. Its priority security goals such as authentication, integrity, security, and non-repudiations play a crucial and essential role. Cryptography means goal is to provide secure, strong, and stable security for network and files.